On paper, Singapore's economy looks steady. But on the ground, many Singaporeans don't feel secure. Worried about jobs, rising costs, and what AI disruption really means for their next paycheck.
So it is this uncertainty which is, I think, leading to this crisis of confidence, because GDP growth was better than expected last year, inflation is low, unemployment is low and stable. It's what many economists would call full employment, and yet people are saying, what's going to happen to my job? People are saying, is when my child graduates from university, can he or she find a job? And this is all these worries that I think are a bit hard to address because the numbers don't match with it. Yeah.
As a result, expectations for Budget 2026 are not for a dramatic reset. Instead, economists expect a reinforcement budget, focusing on reassurance, targeted support, and helping workers and businesses adapt to structural change.
We may see a pairing of targeted cash, right, and capability support.
There's also a fiscal reality. Budgets early in a government term tend to stay cautious, balancing support across the full mandate. That means broad new handouts may be limited, while capability and transformation spending is easier to justify. Cost of living pressure remains the daily pain point. But EY argues the harder truth is this: costs may not come down easily. The more sustainable answer is growing stronger businesses and raising income earning power so that wages can keep pace with living costs.
The most important is to make sure that Singapore businesses continue to stay strong. When we have a strong economy, we create good jobs for our people. We hope to increase the income earning ability of our people to manage the cost pressure.
For young Singaporeans and fresh graduates, the pain isn't just finding any job, but landing a job that matches what they trained for.
So I think support for fresh graduates, it has to strike a careful balance. The most important thing for them is to get into a job as soon as possible that provides them with the entryway to a career and skills ladder, right? So they can develop their career, skills, reputation, industry, and then improve from there.
PwC expects continuity and upgrades of existing employability programs, which include graduate traineeships and early career schemes. Plus, more ecosystem support so companies actually take them up. The goal, shortening the distance between graduation and first meaningful work experience. For young families, the pressure is practical: childcare, flexibility at work, and whether two working parents can sustain the load. For the sandwich generation, it's heavier: supporting children and aging parents without stalling at work.
Today we have childcare leave, we have expanded maternity and paternity leave, but we do not yet have a concept of more general caregiver leave, especially for your elderly parents and dependents, right? So then that can be a lot of stress for the workers. More general caregiver leave, flexible caregiver leave, as well as flexible work arrangements, that's important.
Here, expectations for Budget 2026 centre on workplace flexibility and possibly updates to tax and relief frameworks to reflect modern caregiving realities. EY flags that older relief structures may not match today's expanded caregiving responsibilities, and caps can constrain support for families under heavier load.
So as an example, there was a cap that was introduced in 2018 on the personal relief claim of 80,000, and that actually limit a lot of the working mothers' ability to claim beyond, even as their responsibilities increase. So I would say, and we are looking forward to government reviewing some of this relief cap ceiling and hopefully provide more help to families with probably a different profile now.
A big theme for Budget 2026 expectations is AI not as hype, but economic strategy. When businesses adopt AI well, productivity rises, and that creates better jobs and more resilient careers.
Job security is about being employable. So for the individual, now be it the younger worker, the new graduate, or senior workers, stay relevant. Look out for the training. Ask, right, if my employer is enabling the training and upskilling opportunities. Use the Skills Futures, grant, very important.
More broadly speaking, when we pull back and look at Singaporeans, especially families, besides just the cost of living, right? It's also about how do the families have the security of being able to make long-term decisions about, having children, establishing a home of their own, and so on. So these are again areas that I think people want to know what's going to happen. What's the government going to do for support in these areas?
Taken together, Budget 2026 is expected to be a transition and assurance budget that will help Singaporeans and businesses navigate structural shifts like AI, aging, and global volatility, while keeping the social compact intact.
If you are young, you are having that right education, you will have the right skill set because the university are providing you option for the right courses. Young adults, the opportunity is that work for firms that are growing and they are also very on board with what is relevant to train you to be the next generation of leaders. If you're starting a family, you get some help from government, either a bit of a cash grant or accessibility to facilities to help you to work in peace. Finally, but last but not least, senior citizen like my mom who is retired, continue to give them some comfort of mind. So with them is that perhaps the healthcare system continue to have very clear grant and support, and everyone will have that inclusive growth.
But Budget 2026 will have limits. Cost pressures are global. Transition takes time. And even with ambition, Singapore will need to focus where AI can be applied most effectively.
Be future ready, not future shocked. Budget 2026 will not be that magic wand to change everything, but it will help, right? We hope that government measures will help Singaporeans surf these waves of change and not be swept under the waves.